Welcome back everyone. In the last two videos, we have learned all about lists, creating, accessing and modifying them. And now we're going to learn a very similar data structure, which is tuples. Tuples are like lists, but one key difference that makes them very special. Let's find out what that is. A tuple is an ordered collection of items just like a list, but the key difference is tuples are immutable. So immutable means once the tuple is created, it cannot be changed. Whereas list is a mutable data structure. That means once a list is created, you can do a lot of changes inside a list using list methods. So first of all, let us start with understanding how do we create a tuple. So a tuple mostly looks the same just like a list because it is a data structure and it is a collection. It also store multiple values inside it just like a list. But the only difference and how you recognize a tuple is with the help of the brackets. So a list is always enclosed inside a square bracket, right? Whereas a tuple is enclosed inside the round brackets and also the brackets are optional. So if you even remove the bracket, it will still be treated as a tuple. Now let us perform the type function to know what is the data type of both these variables. So I am going to use the print function here and use the type method with the variable students list, which will tell us what is the data type of this. And let us perform the type method on the list tuple variable as well. Right now we have two variables on the screen. One is student list and one is student tuples, and both of them are storing multiple values inside it. One of them is storing multiple values inside a square bracket, whereas the other one has no brackets at all. So when you run it, it says the one which is enclosed inside the square bracket is a list and the other one is a tuple. So brackets are very important for recognizing the data structure, whether it is a list or a tuple, because they mostly look the same. And also, if I put the round brackets, as I mentioned, the brackets are optional. So you can even use a bracket that is a round bracket, or you can put no brackets at all when you're using multiple datas for a tuple. And when you run, you can see that it still says that it is a tuple. So this is how you create a tuple. So now we understood how to create a tuple and how to recognize a tuple. Now let me show you the key difference between a list and a tuple, which is immutability. So the list allows you to change the data of the existing list, right? So I can change the value of Rahul to something else by using the variable name. So I am using the variable name, which is student list. And as I want to change the first element of it, which is at index 0, I want to change it to Rohan. So when we print it, it is going to show us the new value instead of Rahul inside this list. So you can see that a new value Rohan has been updated. So this shows how list allows us to change the data inside it, right? Now this is not possible when you're working with a tuple. So I do the same thing and I just change the variable name to tuple because we want to perform this on the tuple. And when you do so, and when you run this, you see it's showing an error and it says tuple object does not support item assignment. So because of the brackets, it recognized that it was a tuple. So being a tuple, we cannot change the data inside it. So this is the key feature of tuples. So once it is created, they are like logged. Nobody can change them. This is actually very useful when you have data that should never be changed. And in this case, you can use a tuple. So now we are moving forward to understand the concept of accessing tuples, which is through index. So the concept of indexing and slicing in tuples remains the same, just like in list. You can use the positive and negative indices of your tuple to access those elements. So let us try some example. So I have this tuple of coordinates, and because it is enclosed inside the round brackets, it will be treated as a list, and I have some float values inside it. Now I want to access the 0th element of it. So as we want to display on the output screen, we need to use the print function. and we need to use the variable name along with the index which we want to display on the output screen. So because we want to display index 0, so you can see that 10.5 has been displayed on the output screen. So we can also use negative index to access the elements of this tuple. So let us try the index -1, which will give us the last most element of this tuple. So when I run, you can see that 60.7 being the last element of this tuple has been printed on the output screen. So we can perform slicing on tuples just like we did on list. That means to get a part of this tuple. So I only want two values on the output screen, that is 60.7 and 85.6. So we basically want the elements to start from index 2 and stop at index 3. So I am giving 2 as my start and I want to stop at 3. So I should be giving 4, and as I don't want to skip any elements, I won't be giving any skip. And when I run, you can see that these two values has been displayed on the output screen. So this is how you perform slicing, and also you can reverse the whole tuple by using -1 as your skip. So I am using the variable name coordinates. Now it's time to give the index where to start and where to stop. So I'm not giving any start, I'm not giving any stop. That means it will start and stop as usual, and -1 will make it reverse the whole list, and you can see that the whole list has been reversed. So this is how you perform indexing and slicing on a tuple to access the elements of it. Now let us talk about the methods we have in tuple. So we don't have a lot of methods in tuple because tuple is immutable and we cannot make a lot of changes in it. But we only have two methods. One is count and the other one is index. So the count method helps us to find how many times this particular element is repeating in your code, and the index method helps you to find the index of the given element. And you can also check if this particular element is present in our tuple or not. So when we run all of these codes, so it says that red is repeating 2 times in our code, the index of blue is 2, and the last two outputs we got is true and false because green is present in our tuple and pink is not present in our tuple. So the question here is, when should you use a tuple and when should you use a list? Because they almost look the same and also allows you to store multiple values, right? So you can go for a list when you want to allow the data to be changed. You want to allow adding and removing of the items, and also when you want to allow flexibility in your collection. And you can go for a tuple when the data will never change. It has fixed collection and you want to protect your data. So let us do one real life example on a tuple and see where can we actually use a tuple. So days of the week is the perfect example for a tuple because they're not going to change, right? We only have 7 days in a week and they always remain the same. So the color code is also an example of a tuple because these color codes are always constant. They never change, right? And the GPS location is also an example of a tuple. So this is a GPS location of some place in Hyderabad, and this is always going to be the same, right? So all these data, because they are not going to be changed and they are enclosed inside these brackets, these are the perfect examples for tuples. That's it for this video, and great work everyone. You now understand tuples, and in this video we have understood the use of tuples and use of list, how tuples are immutable and cannot be changed, and how we can access the elements of a tuple just like we do for a list, and the methods of tuple, which is count and index, and how we can use tuples when data should never change. In the next video we will learn dictionaries, the most powerful data structures in Python. See you there.